Okay, a good Woche. Today is Rosh Chodesh Adar, Aleph Adar. We're going to start from the Shir of yesterday, Lamed Adar, which is also was the first day of Rosh Chodesh. Gam Yishu Noki, Michatoes Nurim Achamurim. Alter Rebbe continuing to speak about how to humiliate the Nefesh Abahamis, the animalistic soul, and he gave us some advices when he looks truly on his past and what he did over there with his Averis, and even though he did tshuva on them, but in Olamas Elyonim, he says in upper world it's above time, and and over there it's the Avera could still be being as an obstacle to his Avodas Hashem, especially when they demand from him to go maybe to a higher level. And he spoke about, especially when somebody thinks about Chatoes Nu'urim, the Averis of young people, what they do. But then today it goes like this: V'gam mishu nokim mechatoes Nu'urim hachamurim. Chatoes Nu'urim are Avodas Chamurim. And somebody is clean of that. Yosim El Liboy, he says, you still have to think, L'kayam Maimer Zohar HaKodesh. It says in Zohar HaKodesh, Liyos Mimorei de Chushbana. A person has to be a master of chushban, of accounting, doing accounting of his own deeds. Somebody that does cheshben nefesh, the hainu. Lasso is cheshben nefesh im nafshoy, who do a cheshben nefesh with his soul. Mikol ha-machshavos va-diburim va-hamaisim, from all his thought, speech, and action. Shecholfu v'ovru miyom heyoisoi ad hayom hazeh. From the time he remembers himself from his being a person till today, and you have to see if all you kulam mitzad kedusha, if all these thoughts came from the side of kedusha, or mitzad tumah rachman al-itzlain, from the impurity, from the side of impurity, the hainu. Kol ha-machshavos va-diburim va-ma'asim asher lo lahavayehemo v'leritzoyno v'le'avadosoi. It doesn't have to be that mamash bad thoughts, even the thought that was not for the sake of Hashem, or for the sake of mitzvahs, or for his avodas Hashem. Shu pirush lashon sitra achra, kanal perek vov. As he explains perek vov, sitra achra, which means the other side, does not mean something very bad thoughts or bad deeds or bad speech. If it's not for Hashem, if it's not in Tzad Kedusha, then it's called Sitra Achra, it's the other side. And if a person goes to his portfolio and looks at how his life went, and he's going to see what is most of my thoughts, what is most of my speech, what is most of my action, if it's it, or if it's all the Tzad Kedusha, most of them to the other side. If it's not the Tzad Kedusha, it goes to the other side. And it's known as long as a person thinks holy thoughts. When you have a holy thought, in that moment you become a chariot to the holy chambers. Shemahem, because from those holy chambers, mushpoes machshavos halolu, where you get your ability to think holy thoughts, it's come from the chambers of kedusha. This is the supply place, supplies you with holy thoughts. So when that's what you think about, holy thoughts, you become a merkava, a chariot for those chambers. And something the other way around. If you think unholy thoughts, nasa merkava tameya, you become impure chariot. And that time when you're thinking of the impure thoughts, lecholes hatuma, to the chambers from there coming the impure thoughts, shemahem mushpoes kol machshavos roes. From those chambers come all the bad thoughts. Something looks like in Shemayim there is a chambers, but from there comes to a person ashpoel of holy thoughts, or the other way around, the impure chambers, from there come machshavos of unholy, and and also the Dibur Maisa that follows, wherever, as we mentioned previously, that the Nefesh Elokis, Nefesh Abam is fighting over the mind of the person. The minute they have the mind, that's where the minute you got over the headquarters, that's the mind of the person, that's the headquarters of the body, you have the rest of the body. So if the Nefesh Elokis got the hold of your thoughts, then your thoughts are holy, Memela, your speech going to be holy, and your action going to be holy, and vice versa. If God forbid the Nefesh Abam has got a hold of your mind, and you have thoughts that are not holy, Memela, it's going to follow that the speech won't be holy, the action won't be holy, and that's where wherever the headquarters, the hand of the klipa or the kedusha, that's the rest of the body. So that's when a person thinks. In the past of my life till today, what was most of my thoughts, speech, and action? Was tzaddik kedusha or not tzaddik kedusha? Again, if it's not, then that on its own should bring to the person the shivran lev, the broken heart, the humility that is not as great. Memela, as we said, the main problem is why this whole perek talks about why the light of Hashem sometimes feels so heavy and so it's so concealed, like you such a concealment you feel. You don't feel the light of Hashem flowing through the person. You feel you can't open up your mind to daven, to learn. So it's because the Sitra Achra is very active in the person and it clouds the person. So by humiliating the Sitra Achra, you're putting it down. You're putting it down all the way to the ground. Memela, when there is no concealment, when you remove the obstacles, Memela, the light will shine on its own. Furthermore, you could think, till now he spoke about a person's activity, active thought, active speech, active action. Now he says, now you're going also to your subconscious. The subconscious is the thought. All of us, we could sometime, and the level of conscious, we could control ourselves, yeah. But how would you know where really you are? You look into your subconscious. The subconscious, you could see it according to your dreams. Most of your dreams, it's all some kind of coming hevel, miloshan, emptiness. The hevel, the sound of the mouth. You say who? That's the hevel apeh. That's still empty. It doesn't have. It's not tangible. And some of our dreams are not tangible. It's empty. Ru'us ruach, and bad dreams about bad things. Mishum, the reason for it, we have bad dreams, and it's coming from the bad side. Ru'us ruach, mishum, and nafsha oila lamaylo, because the neshama really doesn't go up to the higher chambers, to the holy chambers. Kumushkosu says in the pasuk in Tehillim, Mi yale bar Hashem. It's pasuk capital 24. Mi yale bar Hashem. Nekikapayim bar levo. Who gonna go to the mountain of Hashem? Only somebody in the kikapayim, clean hands, bar levo, and clear heart. Meaning you have to be in a higher madrega to be able to go to upper worlds, and that's what happens when a person goes to sleep. Where the neshama goes up to. If you go in the proper level, the neshama goes to the good place, and there comes good dreams. But if God forbid he's not, memele, the neshama goes to the places that from there comes the inun sitrin bishin, those bad sides, sitra achra, sitrin bishin, asion. They come umizdabgan be. They come and connect to the person when he's sleeping. Umodin lebechalmo, and then they show him in a dream milin the alma bechulu. They're showing they show him certain dreams. Zimnan the chaychen be. And sometimes they make fun of him. They're showing him false things, and they're just torturing him in a dream. It comes from not from the right, the good side, because if he would be in a good level, his neshama would go up to the Lahar Hashem, to the holy chamber. From there, he would have good dreams. When he doesn't have those good dreams, that shows his level is not that high. Well, yeah, and he says, Aleph Amud Beis, Ancient Barich. He brought from the Zohar and the Parshas Vayikra. Says, look over there to elaborate more on this inyan. So a person could check his level during the day, what kind of level he has, on a level of his subconscious, which is dream. What you dream about, what do you think about? You know, other stories about tzaddikim. They would dream. There is a sefer Shalos Tshuvas Min Hashamayim, and during this dream time, he would bring his questions to heaven, and they would answer him on his questions. Some people, they dream about some pshat and learning. Some people dream about davening. But when the dreams are not such a good dream, that shows we're not in a good level. So when a person thinks about it, he makes a reality check on himself. Like I said, and when he's in conscience, when it's machshava, dibur, ma'aseh, thought, speech, and action during the day, and what he dreams at night, it gives him a reality check. This is not so great. Again, all this, the Alter Rebbe is saying a person should do a cheshbon nefesh and bring down the hodiness of the nefesh abahamis, the hot air of the nefesh abahamis that picks himself up and makes a person arrogant and haughty. And when a person has this arrogant and holiness, Memela, the light of Hashem does not shine on him. Okay, till now that was the shir of yesterday. Now we're starting the shir of today. Today is from Aleph Adar. The more a person gonna elaborate on this inyonim, the machshav when mentally when he thinks about it. Also when he learns in Sforim. There's some Sforim elaborate on this inyonim to help him to make a reality check. Like he said, look over there in the Zohar, where they talk about the dreams, and according to your dreams, where you are, like the known word from the Baal Shem Tov. You want to know what level you are, look where your thoughts are. If your thoughts always in Kedusha, your wills, rotzim, and your thoughts in Kedusha, then you are on the level of Kedusha. If your thought not such a good thoughts, and if your desire is not such a good desire, then you're not in a good place. And it should cause you to be a broken heart, and you should look at yourself and despise yourself, meaning the nefesh abaham is kakosu, v'tachlis hamius, like it says. And as we brought the psukim in Kapitel Nun Aleph, lev nishbar v'nitke, that you mamash have to be a broken heart, and to despise your life. Again, what do you mean to despise your life? Meaning, since they said by the Beinani, the Iker is Nefesh Abaham, is the main thing is animalistic soul, it's mainly where he is at in materialistic world. So you should despise this world, meaning you should desire to remove himself from this materialistic, where he immersed into materialism and arise above it. And that's what he says. Chayav mamish, meaning not that God forbid you should become depressed or suicidal. It doesn't talk about it. Meaning limas b'chayav. That's what's your life. Your life is not nefesh lakis. That's nefesh abamis. Limus, to despise this. The thing that is something higher than my nefesh abahamis. Memela, you despise the nefesh abahamis. Through that, memais umevaza asitra achra. That you humiliate, you despise the sitra achra. Umashpila le'ofer, you bring it down all the way to the earth. Umorida migdulosa v'gasus rucha, memela, you bring it down from its feeling of greatness, gasus rucha, from the feeling of gasus ruach, the coarse feeling of holiness, v'gavhuso, shmagbias atzmo al oir kedushas nefesh elokis lahachshich oira. And that's what the authority, the superiority the nefesh habahamis feel it has, picks itself up against the light of the holy, the light of the godly soul. It darkens the light. How would the light is there? Just putting a heavy curtain, an iron curtain in front of the light. Mainly, the light does not go through. And when you do that, when you bring down the nefesh habahamis, the holiness of nefesh habahamis, when you bring down this mechitza, this curtain, you remove it. Memela, the light will shine. Gam yarim oleyo b'kol rash v'roiges lashpila. Also, you could shout, you could scream on the nefesh habahamis. B'kol rash v'roiges lashpila, to bring it down. K'mayim Razal says in the Gemara, in the Brachas, L'olam yargiz odom yetzer toiv al yetzer hora. Since we learn every person has in him two souls, the nefesh habahamis, nefesh elokis, yetzer hora, yetzer toiv. Yargiz odom yetzer tov al yetzer hora. The yetzer tov should scream, should yell at the yetzer hora. Shneimar rigzu v'goyma. Instead of the rigzu v'al techto. You don't want to do chatoim. You don't want to gravitate it too. Since, so you have to yell at the yetzer hora. The Hainu, he explains, Lirgois al nefesh habahamis, should be angry at your animalistic soul. Shu yitzroi hara, that's your yetzer hora. B'kol rash v'roiges b'machshavtoi. He explained, what the pshat, screaming, yelling. You don't go on the street and start yelling at yourself. You think mentally you should start screaming in your mind, loymar, loy. You have to tell to your yetzer hora, which is, again, it's the person himself, as we said before. By the Beinani, what's dominating in the Beinani, in his body, at the nefesh habahamis, at the animalistic soul, atorah, you are bad. Rasha, you are wicked. Umashuketz, umasuav, umanuvo. All these names of how despised you are, how nasty you are. That's what all the names the Chachamim given be'emes, meaning it's not just a name of guzma, it's not just a name of exaggeration. That is the real name of the Sitra Achra. That's menuvel. It's nothing nice about it. There's one of the mashpiyim once says, when by davening after Shmoneseh we'll do a vidui, we'll say, we'll go with our hand and we'll beat on the heart, Chatonu, Avinu, Pashanu. We say all the Averis, we're going through alphabetic order, we say what we did. So he says, would be maybe a good idea, he said, we should do that with a stick. So take a stick and says Chatonu, Avinu. Why? Because when you do with the hands, maybe the Yetzer Hara could think that you're really not regretting, but you like petting. Let's just say, great, you're bravo, do it again. He might think you're petting it, you encouraging it. So it says, so that's the idea of beating on the heart. It's not petting the Yetzer Hara. It's not saying, oh, you're a good boy, continue. No, you say, you're bad. Rashom, Shukatz, Masuv, Manubal, you're nasty, you're bad. Really realize it, be'emes, bring it to the awareness, should be true by you, your own awareness. It's not like I'm just saying it, I don't mean it. You have to really mean it, realize how bad a person himself, when you do it to yourself, no one else will do it to you. Like I mentioned in the previous shiurim from Resh Lakish, better to beat yourself in your heart once yourself, more than if others doing it 100 times to you. If people are going to tell you all these words, you're probably going to be defensive, insulted, humiliated. Do it yourself. Do it yourself truly. That's what it says. All this name, meaning it's a true statement. You believe in it. If you don't believe in it truly, just saying words, empty words, it's not going to do any, it won't be effective. If you really mean it like this, it'll be very, very effective. And you're going to say to yourself, to the Nefesh Habahamis, Admosai tastir lefonai, how long you will conceal from me, Oir and Sof Baruch Hu, the light of Hashem, Amamale Kol Almin, the light that fills in on all the worlds, Hoyo, Hoive, B'Yiye, B'Shove, this light of Hashem was here, will be here, it's here. Gam b'mokem zeh, in this place where I am right now, Shani Olam. The same thing like the great light filled the world before the creation. That light that's still here, without any changes. I did not change at all. He is above time, even though right now we create space and time, but he's above this. So he's here like before the creation. So why don't we see it? Why don't we see that light? Why to learn about godliness, we have to really study a lot. The world we see, God we don't see. It's a known word from the Baditchever Rebbe. He said it was Malamed Kav Zchus on the Eden. He says, you have tightness on the Eden. Sometimes we don't follow the Torah right. Sometimes we don't do Avodas Hashem right. He says, it's not fair, he says. The world, he says, it's all over. You see the world. And it's really, everybody sees that it's pshitas by Anoshim Pshutim. The world is pshitas, meaning it's basic. We see it. We don't have to study, but to see how good is eating, drinking, making money. But he says, but godliness, to learn the godliness, you put them in a small book. You have to go learn Tanya, learn other books in a small book in a library. He says, how about the other way around? Put the whole Olam Haza in a little library, in a little bookcase, and put the God all over. Look how the Jews going to serve Hashem. Tanya, yeah, it's a Kav Zchus. But Lamaisa, why don't we see Hashem? Because why don't we see the world more than we see Hashem? Because there is a concealment in the world. It says, Bereshis bara Elokim. Elokim is a teva. It's the world. It's Helen v'Hester. It's a concealment. And part of the concealment, it's my own nefesh abahamis. It's my own animalistic soul that makhish emes. It denies the truth by nefesh abahamis. Hanir eloinayim. Really, if you look good with the good eyes, without any obstacles, yeah, if you see clear, you're going to see godliness everywhere. You're going to see the energy of Hashem, chayes of Hashem everywhere. Without Hashem, nothing would be here. You would feel it. You would see it. But the reason I don't see it, we don't see it, because that concealment, that mamash it could see be'enaim gashmiyos, the instead of just seeing the physical world, you would see the energy of the world, the chayus of the world, the godliness of the world, the kulei kamei kaloi mamash be'emes. Whatever we see in all the objects we see in the world, the tables, the chairs, the stones, the people, and the animals, all this is like without God, nothing would be here. You would feel mamash, the main chayes of the world is Hashem. Without Hashem, nothing would be here. Kule kame kule mamash, be'emes. L'vchinas re'iyah chushis. You would see it mamash clearly with your own eyes. Again, and the reason we don't see it, again, that's the whole cheshbon of the Alter Rebbe was saying, or we're trying to say over here, because we are so megushamdik, we are so coarse with our own nefesh habahamis, and the nefesh habahamis causing us, it's like blinding us spiritually not to see godliness. If you go from the beginning of the perek till now and really practice this perek, bring down the Sitra Achra, bring down the Nefesh HaBahamis, humiliate the Nefesh HaBahamis, which is again humiliating yourself, to yourself. Nobody have to know about it, but if you're going to do this well, this homework, you're going to practice it, through this, it will be very beneficial to your soul, to the godly soul. It's going to shine your eyes, it's going to open up your eyes. Yichud oren soif b'riyah chushis. Imam is going to see godliness with an open eye, like you see physically. You see a light. You're going to see godliness. Obviously, you don't see God in a tangible way, meaning in a physical way. There's no image, but you will feel the energy of Hashem. You feel the chayes of Hashem in the world. Lo b'bchinas shmiya v'havona levado. Moshe Kosov b'mokem acher. Right now, there is two levels of seeing, understanding Hashem. There's a level of when you hear something, when you hear news, or when you see it, it's completely different level. when you see something, it's a lot more me'umat by you. It's a lot more truthful to you. You believe in it a lot more than what you hear. What you hear news, something happened somewhere else, miles away. It could be like what you heard. Could be there's another story of it, another version to the story. Could be it never happened. You know it, but it's not the same knowledge. It's not the same awareness and feeling of the facts like you see it. When you see it, it's a lot stronger. It says like this: even a person learns godliness in books at the level of shmiyah, like we heard about it, it's still not, the awareness is not as great, the recognition is not so great. So he says, but through this method, with Alter Rebbe taught us now, we could feel the godliness and the level of riyah, like we see it. Not only of a level of hearing and understanding. It says another place, Shezeu shoyresh kol ha'avoida. This is the shoresh of all the avoida, is what to not only godliness should be something we hear about it, we understand, something we should feel and see. And the only way we could come to it when we clear the obstacles, when we take away all the window shades, when we take away all the curtains. And how we take away those curtains, how we remove those obstacles, by the biggest obstacle, the biggest iron curtain we have, it's our own nefesh, abahamis, animalistic soul, that causing us gravitation to materialistic world, by bidding up mentally your nefesh abahamis, humiliating it, bring it down. The melee, when it's gonna deflate, they're gonna take all the air out of there. The melee, the light which is already here, you're gonna feel it. All right, Rabbi Isai, a good walk. We'll see you tomorrow night.
Thank you.
Rabbi.
Good night.
A good
Shabbat
walk.
tov.